Aaron Eckhart. Got it.
Mhm. And then tonight, it's Christmas. This week marks its 75th anniversary. Released 12/20/1946. We're going to discuss the holiday classic, It's a Wonderful Life.
Fantastic.
How racist is this movie? 1 to 10. Russ.
It's definitely not 0. It is somewhere between 5 and 10. No,
You think
it's
so?
It's probably around a 5.
Joe?
Making considerations for the era and the time frame. And
no, I mean by today's standards.
Like a 3-4.
I give it a 3. I think 3 is the right number. It's just got a few things. There are inappropriate things in this movie that are not racism, but it's for one of the most beloved, like comes up. Everybody who did this movie, Frank Capra, Jimmy Stewart, Donna Reed, they all say this is my favorite. This is the movie I love the most. And they recorded it during the summer. So something to be said, I think, about what they really captured here. 2 years after the war, Jimmy Stewart coming back, didn't know what he was going to do, didn't know if he was ready for a role. And Frank Capra got a hold of this and made the role kind of just for him. There were a few of them. Actually, the guy who plays Potter, that's Lionel Barrymore. You may hear the last name and think that sounds familiar. He got Jimmy Stewart to play.
Is that Drew Barrymore's dad?
She comes 400 years. The Barrymores have been actors. That's nuts, right?
That's insane.
So, that's insane. Yeah. So for 400 years.
As like play actors?
No, 400 years of movies. What are you? What?
That's so good.
Seriously?
That's bullshit then. That's some random bullshit that their family made up. They have not been,
of course, freaking
like
Drew
making plays.
Hey, I looked it up on the internet. It must be true.
It must
also
be true.
On Wikipedia, it said this movie had a budget of 3.18 million, made 3.3. It was not a critical success.
Adjusted numbers for today's currency, or did they really make millions of dollars on movies back then?
I mean, it's Wikipedia, so I think it means real money.
Interesting.
Real money. It means real money, Joe.
Real money. I thought we were dealing with Monopoly money. I mean, did you see the money in this movie? It looked like Monopoly money.
I mean, and there's a lot of different money in it, especially when they got the $2 after the day where they got to stay open until 6 p.m. Anyway, let's get into that in a minute. First, Joe, let's rate it and grade it.
Oh, I mean, for me, this movie is at A. Easy. It's been a long time hallmark of the holidays for me and my family. It was interesting this watch through. I was blown away at how long it takes to get to him at the bridge and his guardian angel intervening and doing the whole.
It's the last half hour
review. Yeah, it's like the whole movie's just at his actual life. I didn't remember it that way. It's been a long time since I watched this movie, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Have always enjoyed it.
Nice. Russ, how did you enjoy it? Wait, I don't care. How did Sonia enjoy it?
That's part of this, actually. This is the first time I sat through it. I think it was always on in the background, like for Christmas at my grandparents or something, but never really paid attention. This is my first time watching it. I'll say that. Sonia's first time watching it. At the end, she said, I really liked that. I would like to watch this every year. And I said, I could not fully get over the racism in this movie.
Come on, there's only a little bit.
Dude, it's like something that you just don't see in the life that I've been alive, the kind of racism that's in this movie. It's from a different era. And I got stuck on it. I saw it and I was like, what the hell was that? And it's early on in it. And I watched it for the... Anyways, long story short, I don't think I can go above a B-.
I just think it's funny that the sexism didn't stand out.
No, their servant really stood out to me.
Well,
Interesting.
they were very fond of that servant. Harry even smacks her on the ass when they're going into the kitchen once.
I see. Now it's funny. It's not. And guys, I'm just going to tell you right now. I don't want to chase this rabbit down the hole.
Me
But
neither.
for my part, that was the one part in the movie that made me uncomfortable with the amount of racism that was in the movie. I was like, in that instance, I could see that poor woman not being able to tell somebody not to put hands on her body. That being context for the political environment that we exist in today, the way it was portrayed and the way I think it was intended was this woman was a part of their family.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
it was a job. It wasn't a slavery situation.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, living.
that's all I got to say about it. I'm not
Okay,
gonna
let's
keep
just
talking
get the
about it.
only other real overt part out of the way. How did you feel about playing nursemaid to a garlic eater, Joe? How did that strike you when that comes across very casually, like it's
Nursemaid to a
a
garlic
term of
eater.
endearment? Yeah. So
didn't-
I'm guessing that's an Italian person.
I didn't even hear that part.
Yeah, it's a
Where did-
throwaway line in there, but it's
Ben,
in
did-
there anyway.
Did you watch Ben? Did you watch the black and white or the color?
So this is my first time actually sitting through the movie. After sitting through it all the way, which I actually had to watch it twice. I just couldn't stay up too late last night. Sitting through it all the way, I realized that I've seen a lot of these scenes already in black and white, but I had chosen to watch it in color, which shows just how far I've gone from reading books and appreciating things for their original iterations and intelligence. Completely one opposite color version. And it was good. It was actually funny story since you're a captive audience, and this is where everybody turns it off. We were going to watch Adventures of Ford Fairlane for this movie. We wanted to do another Christmas movie, but turns out you have to find an old copy of a DVD off of eBay. You can't just stream it. So that's out. But first time I've ever heard Zuzu Pedals somewhere else. Zuzu Pedals is the name of a character in Ford Fairlane. She's also the name of Mr. Bailey's daughter in this. I thought that was pretty crazy. I'd say it's a B. It's a standard. I can see why it's so beloved. To me, the story is a little bit like full of itself, but I think for the time it makes a lot of sense. I think everybody was happy to have life be something that could be routine and enriching 2 years after coming out of,
well, not only that, but
WW2.
think about the American
The BMW 2.
WW. Yeah, the BMW 2. This car changed the American landscape.
The VW.
The whole world took notice.
No, I think it was interesting for me to think about the American family dynamic from that time. Almost everybody in this film has their father to their son. Businesses were generational. Your place in the community was generational, and it was interesting to see that play. Plus, we're only talking 10 years, 20 years
since
20
what?
years since Black Friday, because that was what, 29.
Black Friday, like that was just at the end of Thanksgiving,
No,
like a month ago.
Fucking
That wasn't.
guy.
What are you talking about? Did you do
Have you
research
guys-
on when
it-
Black
the
Friday first
original
started?
Black Friday was the stock market collapse of 1928, 1929, and
I thought that
literally
happened on a
that
Wednesday.
launched the Great Depression. I don't know what fucking day it happened. It happened in 19. But that's the original. I'd assume it's Black Friday. Duh. Anyways, that's the original story behind Black Friday. It was actually what kicked off the Great Depression. It was the stock market crash. So this is only 20 years after that, they talk about it. That's when they had the runs on the bank. That was why that whole run on the bank scene was such a big deal, because that's what caused the crash.
Right. Everybody yanking out their money. Yeah.
That's what caused it. So that part of it was interesting to me, you know.
The influenza scare, the influenza pandemic of 1919.
Yeah.
What the hell is?
See, Russ catches everything. I got a co-host. For Scott. There we go.
How do you get on? Who's over there?
He just stepped in screen. What are you talking about? He's been staying at our house. I met him under a bridge.
Can tell he's green.
Now you're making him uncomfortable, Russ.
You're the Great Depression.
See, now you made him uncomfortable. Now he left. Dude, how rude are you?
Well, I think you wanted to probably say something about the Great Depression, but he doesn't talk much. All right. One other thing about race. We're just going to keep touching back on it. White privilege in this movie. How many times did you look at it and think, if that was another person, maybe who wasn't James Stewart, that cop would have shot him? Or he crashes his car into the tree drunk, gets away from there. Like, that's a shooting nowadays. That's
it. I mean, I did not view it that way, but yes, I agree with you. But what it did take me to was a bit more of like just country town, where I don't know. There's like small towns across the U.S.
Pleasantville.
I don't live in one, and I don't experience them very often, but where they still do have communities like that, where everyone knows each other.
Yeah, where people can breathe in a small town,
where everybody knows your name.
You see Billy Bob run into a tree, and you're like, God damn it, Billy Bob! Like, let's just let him sleep it off tonight. Let's get him. It's not
just doing Cheers. How's Cheers a small town? It takes place in Boston. Give me your.
He said where everybody knows your name.
Okay. All right. You went off on Cheers, and I thought, this is. I do not get this.
But no, I did not get racism out of that.
All right.
The white privilege is rampant in this movie, though, just on another level. I don't know. They're all so happy and so white, and so they look like a bank commercial, like a fucking bank commercial.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Funny Farm, where Chevy Chase moves out to the country? Probably not. Anyway, that town is also super white. Super white. This movie had some different stuff in pop culture that I never realized. Zuzu Pedals, number one. There was something else. I forget. But dude, the guy with the hee-haw greeting.
Yeah.
How good is it that didn't become a thing? I think I would. It would literally put me into a blinding rage if there were a group of people who walked around hee-hawing at each other.
Hee-haw.
The fuck is that?
Hee-haw was huge. That's a whole episode in and of itself.
And he got 25K. Well, no, hee-haw the show, I remember, but a greeting. It made me sick to my stomach.
That's how I'm gonna greet you now forever. Hee-haw,
right.
Man.
Don't. So Frank Capra, a Sicilian, a garlic eater. He directed this movie.
Dude, Ben.
He also he put it in his movie. That's the nomenclature from this script. Also did Mr. Smith Goes to Washington with Jimmy Stewart. Another really great movie about free speech. I feel like his speech in this, when he's talking to everybody in the bank about, don't just do this to me, don't go over to this guy, but because if you do, here's what's going to happen. I feel like that resonated with a generation and then maybe the following generation. And then since then, we've all gone to it's much easier with the bigger guy.
Yeah, that was one of the things I appreciated most about this movie was that long-term thinking that the whole community had together, I guess. And right now it's all just knee jerk in the moment. Well, I don't know. Kind of, I want right now.
I have banked with a local credit union since I was 16, and they just recently went with a merger with another larger credit union, and the phone system changed, and now I can't get some of it. It used to be I could call my bank and somebody at my bank would answer on the third ring.
You sound so old right now, but go on.
And now I call and it's like I had a Washington Mutual account. You go in the fucking phone menu hell and can't get a hold of friggin' anybody. So yeah, no, I'm all about that scene.
Phone
Washington
menu hell is awful.
Mutual. Washington Mutual does not exist anymore. Just so you know.
Well, so I'm just, you see the gray in my beard, Dick?
All right. This was based on a book that you could have bought at Walden Books, also no longer a bookstore.
Hey, my first job.
I know. Written by 6 people, 6 different people. Donna Reed had her own show. Nick the bartender. That's right. I got a note about Nick the bartender. That guy was a prolific TV actor with that way of talking. He became a caricature. That was just so prevalent, dude.
Yeah, and I like how it was Nick's in the alternate verse in Martinis.
Right.
Not to detract from Nick, but I'm gonna forget it.
You can't. So it's good. You're good.
That intro where the different galaxies are talking to each other. That again, this is really my first time watching this movie.
Right. Yeah.
And I see that and I'm like, what the hell are we doing?
It made me realize that when Beavis and Butthead do Butthead Dies, and they show the celestial bodies talking, I was like, this is ridiculous. And then I watched this movie and thought, oh, they were doing a straight up copy of these celestial bodies being light shows talking in the sky.
Oh yeah. You didn't. I'm funny. That's funny because I haven't watched very many Beavis and Butthead episodes, but I saw that one, and
this is a big one when it came out.
Caught that reference.
85 million viewers.
That's insane.
I don't know, really.
Jesus.
You know Christ. That Ben just makes up everything he says.
Oh yeah.
Why do you believe him?
It's Beavis and Butthead. I would believe it.
You know, I never got into Beavis and Butthead. I think by the time I was like, it was around, I was only like 7 or 8. You guys were already close to 23. Being adults. You're not that old, but you're really old. But it wasn't even at that young age. I thought this is stupid.
It was pretty stupid.
The sounds they made and stuff, like I could watch Beast Wars or I could watch that. Beast Wars. Come on.
What's funny about this conversation is back during the time this movie was made, they had radio productions. They had movies and stuff, but radio productions.
Mm-hmm.
That was still a common form of entertainment.
Now it's all podcasts and TikToks, and I mean, stay off my lawn. I try and keep. This movie got a science award for its snow. Before this, in movies, they used to use cornflakes, and then it was so loud that they'd have to record the sound afterwards every time. They invented a new type of snow for this movie that was used for years afterwards.
Later,
pretty cool.
Later was the base ingredient for asbestos insulation.
So we've also got that.
What was it? Because I remember seeing it. There were some scenes where the snow was so prevalent. And I could tell. I just look at it and I was like, they're not cold at all. But they're trying really hard to make it look that way.
Filmed over a heat wave over
Yeah.
3
Was
months.
it really?
Yeah, the
That's
summer.
crazy.
Yeah. They say when he's stumbling through the snowy streets after everything's fallen apart, that's 90-degree weather in July.
Jesus.
Yeah. The benefits of shooting in black and white, eh?
I was just about to say, I was like, that's something that had never occurred to me that they could have done in a black and white format, because if you do color, then obviously it's day, but
Right.
now because it was shot in black and white, they go back and colorize it.
Yeah.
And that
it looks like a
footage,
stormy ass day.
yeah, I was blown away.
Yeah.
That
I thought the
blows
color
me
was really
away.
good in this. I just watched another movie that was from the 50s that early 50s that they did like Technicolor vision or whatever it was. And it was very saturated. I thought they actually did quite a good job.
World War II in color. That's the
Yeah.
first place my mind goes when I think of a good Technicolor. And when I saw this, I was like, this is damn good.
It was really good. I had the same thought.
I
This was
haven't
only
watched it.
a year after the atomic bomb was dropped.
How about scenes?
That atrocity. Yeah. That's what
Any
they-
scenes that stuck out to you guys?
The thing that I really enjoyed the most about this movie was I don't know if it was intentional while they were recording it or not, but they did a very good job at capturing the thought process of people of that era. And as I was watching it today, I felt like I was learning, especially from the way the loan aspect worked, and the loaner and the loanees in the whole process behind, like, no, well, your money's in his house and it's going to take 60 days and I'll give you your $22 at that time. Like, there was just a lot of stuff that I never really thought about. I felt like I learned watching this movie.
Like an econ class.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Nice.
Stuff they still don't teach in schools.
Only good for one college credit, but still pretty cool to learn.
I think my favorite scene was probably the poison in the pills.
Dude, I'm watching that and I'm like, his ear looks like it's very realistically bleeding.
Oh, yeah.
When he gets smacked in the ear. Yeah, definitely. He broke that kid's eardrum. That kid yeah.
Oh, no, they probably had a friggin'
No, for sure. For sure.
Ben's just saying things.
He was no. It's on my actual research. That guy wasn't pretending to be drunk. He was drunk and he smacked the kid so hard he made his ear bleed.
Wow.
Yeah. Method acting, 1946. Be
I've
drunk
got
on
Google
set.
in front of me.
Don't hit
All
my
right, go
sore
ahead and
ear.
Google.
Don't hit my sore ear. So the crying and all that kid's performance were legit.
Yep.
Wow.
I also like that. I like that they don't like heavy hand with the brother just died from influenza, or son just died from influenza. And that's why the shopkeeper is so, it's 1919. I thought, oh, this is like very relatable.
Oh, yeah.
That could be a scene in a movie right now.
Telegram, not a phone call. Piece of mail shows up and you find out your son's dead. And that was something else that stuck out to me watching this movie this time around. And the movie itself is so timeless that it's not a slap in the face as far as how it's aged, and it's intentionally taken from an era, a bygone era. But again, back then even telephones weren't a regular thing.
No, they're
you had to schedule a phone call. You had to write a letter and tell somebody that you were going to call them on such a date at such a time.
You had to write someone a letter saying, I'm going to call you.
Yeah. I mean, her mom was up there at the top of the stairs, such and such, whatever his fucking name is going to call you at 7:00.
Yeah. Be ready for it.
Yeah. It was like an event. Like she had to get dressed like she was going out to get a phone call.
Yep.
Well,
Back
that
in
was
the days,
even
that's how it worked.
that was even when like I was a kid, so obviously when you were kids, like there was no if you missed your call, you got to look and go like, "Oh, so and so called me 2 hours ago. Let me
No.
give him a call back." It was just
Answering
like,
Oh yeah,
machines,
no,
though.
caller ID and answering machines handled that shit early on.
Right.
Early
But
on.
I mean, Russ, what do you remember ever one of your friends having a rotary phone?
we no, I mean I played with them. I don't
Right.
remember.
But like actively being used in a house?
I used it in my house. I don't remember having to make calls from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've shit.
Isn't that cool? That's like
A
a split right
corded
there.
rotary phone, dude, for years, like my very formative teenage years of being able to use the phone. Spent my own money to buy a long ass cord so I could stretch the phone back to my room and close the door and talk on the phone. Oh yeah. The
Yeah, I don't
whole
that's
culture
a
gone.
memory I don't have. I think like maybe the phone existed, but I was too young to be able to use it. It was like that's an adult person thing. And so I would
Yeah.
go like touch it and spin the dial like look at me, I'm pretending to be an adult.
Yeah,
But I really had no idea what was going on.
that's funny.
Interesting.
You guys are fucking old.
Well, the other funny thing that was a big disconnect for me, which is the first time in this movie, speaking about old people, was the stated ages of Jimmy Stewart and some of the other actors. And it was like, dude, you're in your 40s, man. Like you ain't no 25, 26-year-old young buck. You know, you're
No.
I was like, wait.
He was not. Yeah. And then, yeah, Donna Reed is playing 13 years older by the end of the movie. She's 25 in this. She's playing 38. And he's 38 playing all the ages. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no.
Like,
It's,
well, I mean, they
but I
accomplished
mean,
a
it's
lot
Jimmy
with
Stewart.
dress. Well, they accomplished a lot with dress because back then style and dress was a thing on a level that it can't even be compared to today's society. I mean, you're the way you dressed set your age, your economic bracket, your everything.
True.
If you were to change him with another actor.
Oh God, from that time frame. I mean, I almost Bing Crosby comes to mind as a contender.
I don't know.
I'd have to see what his age was at the time.
No, I feel like Jimmy Stewart is this era's Tom Hanks. That's the kind of roles he got, and that's the kind of acting he could do. He was the guy. One of his friends was Henry Fonda, who also I feel like had a lot of these kind of roles, and it's hard to think of who bridged the gap between Henry Fonda to Tom Hanks, but I don't know. I wouldn't put anybody else.
Maybe Sylvester Stallone.
No.
Definitely Sylvester. No, it's Terry Crews. It's Terry Crews all day long.
Terry Crews.
No, but I think Jimmy Stewart actually slays in this movie as far as his performance. I mean, he just throws down. But they had such a different level of cinematography and filming back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the close-ups that they do in the board meeting when Jimmy Stewart's like got his little speech. They don't do that kind of cut, that kind of framing and shit anymore. You know, it's like it's a close up on that actor's face, and he's got the whole scene.
Right. Just to chew up.
Killed it. I thought there were a ton of great performers in this movie. The cab driver was great.
Ernie. Oh, that's another thing, dude. Bert and Ernie. How many times does he say Bert and Ernie?
Dude,
Between the cop and the cab driver. I'm like this 100%.
Dying.
Yeah, that's where that came from.
Yeah, the first time he says it, I was like, what? And then, like you said, he just keeps saying Bert and Ernie, Bert and Ernie, Bert and Ernie. And I was like, come on, what the hell is going on here? This
is 30 years before the Muppets.
Which is also
movie.
Crazy.
Yeah, no.
So when you guys were kids, were the Muppets around?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's
They were
time to-
huge.
Yeah,
Fraggle
dude.
Rock, motherfucker.
Oh my God. Yeah. Grew up on Fraggle Rock and the Muppet Show. Absolutely, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Miss Mandrell.
Dude, I would watch Fraggle Rock over any movie on a Saturday all day. Fraggle Rock was great.
Right now?
I mean,
The-
if I could expose my kids to Fraggle Rock, I absolutely would. I haven't
It's
even
on
looked that
HBO?
shit up.
I don't know.
I'd have to look it
It
up.
might be HBO. You didn't know of the Muppets when you were a kid, Russ?
No, I did. But I mean, I wasn't really into them. Like I said, when I was a kid,
They were
I
passe by the time you were of an age.
They
there
didn't
was
catch you with Muppet Babies.
we had like 3 channels because of where we lived, but luckily one of them got Beast Wars, so I could pick between Beast Wars or things you're talking about.
Dude, Beast Wars and Starship Troopers. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
Beast Wars, Starship Troopers,
Flip 6 3-hole.
and Jaws.
Six,
Son of a
three,
bitch.
oh.
And Jaws.
And
And
Jaws.
Jaws.
Don't forget Jaws.
In fact, Quint or Robert Shaw from Jaws, I think he'd be good in this movie.
As what? Like the surly old soda shop owner?
He'd be a good bartender.
You're not paid to be a canary. Dude, one of my earliest notes is what's up with the Raven in the bank?
Yeah,
Just
what
you
is
guys
up
and all,
with
you're
that?
like, what
They
the
never
fuck is this?
explain it.
Dude, the Raven has acting credits. He's
Yeah,
listed in the casting.
Frank Capra puts him in every movie he makes after 1938.
See,
That
that's
bird's
great.
in all of his movies after 38.
That's great trivia. And dude, and it is just like you don't even actually really blink an eye about it. Like this fucking bird flies across the bank and lands on dude's shoulder when he's having a meltdown about the money he lost.
That's Uncle Billy's only redeeming quality. I mean, let's get into it. Uncle Billy, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
Uncle
even
Billy
Frank-
reminds me of Polly from Rocky.
Come on, Brock.
From the beginning, he was like, "Oh, we could just sell it. It's fine." Like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to be
another
in
job.
charge.
I'm only 55.
I want to be a drunk. It's cool.
Just everything about him was lame.
Dude, but who really put their life and blood into that savings and loan?
George
Not him.
Bailey.
Well, the uncle. I mean, he was.
He
there
just
for-
put more time because he
And
was
his-
alive longer.
And
It
his
was he-
toots because he was sitting on his ass so much.
that allowed. Well, yeah, it is what it is. I like that guy. I thought he was fun. He made the thing dynamic. That $8,000 going missing. It's funny you think about it today, and it's like $8,000. Like a couple of weeks ago, I pulled about 2,500 out of the bank. 'Cause I had some contractors to pay, and thought I lost it, and would have been all right. But in 1946, $8,000 could sink a bank.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's
yeah.
insane, dude. The fact that she whipped out their honeymoon fund of $2,000 and handled all of the immediate financial needs for the town.
Yep.
I was like, that's insane.
But how about the basket full of money and everybody coming to save George at the end? I honestly, it was like you've sat through 127 minutes to get to these final 3 minutes where it really hits home. Like, I don't know. I thought the ending was done really well. I love it when people come together to not be idiots.
No, it's the ultimate like this movie is probably the cookie cutter template for Christmas movies. You know, think of every Hallmark Christmas movie.
I mean,
that
and
you've
this
watched.
and this is a Christmas Carol cut down. Let's be honest. That's exactly what this movie is.
I mean, yeah, with a little bit of night. What is it?
Scrooge.
I want to say Scrooge, but that's
Scrooge
not the original
is
movie.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Scrooge is the exact movie.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
It's Christmas Carol. Dickens
Yes.
responsible for saving Christmas.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's Christmas Carol reversed. Rather than spending the whole movie doing the back through time thing, they live his life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Forward.
I would
only gets
almost
ghost number 3.
I'd
And
almost
this
say it's
time,
better
the ghost
executed.
is an angel and he's got to fight George. Wait, no, that's not it.
So I mean, so let's have that discussion. Which one of these is better executed? Same format, different approach.
I like
Is
this.
It's a Wonderful
this
Life better
better.
than A Christmas Carol?
I mean, this movie's
I mean-
racist, which the other one is not.
Christmas Carol, yes. Scrooge, no.
Yeah, no. Scrooge is a parody.
And you can watch it right here, our review of it.
Yeah,
People loved
like,
it.
Will Ferrell
Laugh
needs
Riot,
to do
4
a remake
stars,
of friggin'
said
A
Gene
Christmas
Siskel.
Carol. I'd watch that. I'd watch a Will Ferrell remake of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
would
that's
watch
great because next week we're doing Elf.
that.
No.
That's not A Christmas Carol. And fuck that movie.
Oh, come on.
Fucking
All
I
right.
actually
Fucking
do
movie.
not like Elf, so I'm with Joe on this one.
Okay.
Let's do it.
We're done. Go ahead and turn it on. That's enough of you guys.
Fuck you guys.
The ending was probably my least favorite part about this movie.
Really?
Interesting.
You thought you get a job, asshole? What was it?
I don't know. I just felt like remember I said like I learned things watching this movie.
Uh-huh.
The ending was just such bullshit compared to all that learning. It was just he's just immediately like, I'm gonna kill myself. I can't think my way out of this one. I've thought my way out of everything so far. Now
What
I'm
do you
just
mean he
gonna
can't
kill
think his way
myself.
out of it? It was the insurance policy.
It's such bullshit.
He had thought his way out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Try-
He was going to cash in the insurance policy. On
Yeah,
his friggin'
just
death.
try like a few other things before
Fake
like,
fake
that
your
insurance
own death,
policy will
right?
be there later.
Defraud them. Fake your own death. Don't
You're
actually
a
do it.
pillar
Come on.
of the community who
And then-
supports hundreds of dozens
Yeah.
of families, and your entire life's work is about to fail. And it's
And yet his
unreasonable to
wife-
think that he goes to throw himself off a bridge to cash in on that 15K so he could save the town.
And his 4 children.
Yeah, it is unreasonable
He's-
to get
all
that
right.
far within like 4 hours. And then his wife just goes out and rallies the town and like within the span of 30 minutes.
Well, yeah, it's Donna Reed, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll take
She's-
2, please. Santa, are you listening? It's Christmas time. Bring me 2, please.
It just, I don't know. For me, it was too cliche. Just too cliche.
I thought it was heartwarming.
And it was very heartwarming. One other thing
Oh,
it
you
did
hate
actually.
heartwarming things. I forgot.
That's not true. But when he's yelling at her and then she goes out and fixes it for him, it made me feel bad for my wife. And I was like, why is this movie doing that to me?
There has to be some commentary to be made there, but I'm not gonna make it.
No, I was just like watching a husband be a shitty husband. And I was like, do I do that ever? And then I don't know. It was just a moment. Fuck that movie. It made me feel bad.
Dude, he bought her the dream
Speaking of,
house.
Yeah, I mean, you've done good. You've done a good job. You're good enough, Russ. Saving Private Ryan would be proud of you.
Saving Private Ryan, the act of saving a private would be proud of me.
That's correct. That's
How
correct.
did you get the beans above the Frank?
Hey, you know what was the #1 box office movie in 1946?
No, I'm glad you have this though. What was it?
Song of the South.
Is
Song of the South.
Is this why you started the show off with racism?
Hey, I've come all the way back around. There was plenty to go around in 1946, unfortunately.
Song of the South, the only Disney movie production that's ever been completely eliminated from production.
Yeah. Can't get it. Can't buy it. You gotta BitTorrent it. #2 is Notorious, the Hitchcock film. Good old Hitchcock. We should do a Hitchcock movie. Rear
Oh,
Window is my
God.
favorite.
The Birds.
Secret Window.
No, Rear Window. Secret
Yes.
Window is Johnny Depp, based on a Stephen King novella.
Dude, the corn
Corn.
What the fuck are you talking
He
about?
turns people into corn.
Your last bowel movement?
What are
The
you
corn.
talking about?
In Secret Window, you don't remember the ending? The ending is corn.
No, I don't. Wow. All right. So it's late. Obviously, Russ is having issues.
The ending is what?
Yeah,
Everyone is corn.
you're gonna have to watch the movie.